we ask that you remain seated, keeping the area directly in front of the bleachers clear. Feel free to take photographs and videos from anywhere in the seating area. We ask that you silence all electronic devices. Please look around you and do not leave any trash. At the conclusion of today's ceremony, we ask that you exit the parade deck behind the bleachers. Thank you. The 1st Marine Division Band, based at Camp Pendleton, California, represents the finest mixture of ceremonial artistry and combat readiness. Not only do Marines from this band uphold the highest standard of musical proficiency, but also serve as a deployable security element, continuing a legacy of Division Marines who fought in operations Desert Shield, Desert Storm, Enduring Freedom, and Iraqi Freedom. While still performing at over 300 annual commitments throughout California and beyond our country's borders, the 1st Marine Division Band continually strengthens its warfighting capabilities through yearly field exercises, fostering goodwill amongst our allies and displaying our nation's strength through musical excellence. The 1st Marine Division Band is under the leadership of Chief Warrant Officer 4, Andres Navarro, Band Officer, and Master Sergeant Devon, Bandmaster. Today, the band is led on the march by the Drum Major, Staff Sergeant Eric Gonzalez, and is under the direction of the enlisted conductor, Staff Sergeant Nathan Doggett. The pre-parade serenade was provided by 1st Marine Division Band, Marine Corps Base, Camp Pendleton, California. The Marine Corps has played an active role in San Diego history ever since Marines from the sloop of war Cyane seized Old Town during the Mexican-American War in 1846. Marines have been stationed at the Recruit Depot since 1921, when most of the buildings to your front were constructed. These buildings, known as the Arcade, were designed by world-famous architect Bertram Goodhue. The Arcade is among 25 buildings that have qualified for inclusion on the National Register of Historic Places and are outstanding examples of Spanish colonial revival architecture. Since 1923, more than 1 million Marines have completed their recruit training here at the Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego. And since 19 1915 at the Marine Corps East Coast Recruit Training Depot at Parris Island, South Carolina. Regardless of where a Marine attended boot camp, you can rest assured that they received the toughest and most physically and mentally demanding recruit training offered anywhere in the world. Some individual techniques and methods may have evolved over the years, but the focus and adherence to our core values of honor, courage, and commitment are as strong today as any time in our history. Today, the Marines of Company G accept the responsibilities to safeguard this proud tradition as they step forward to join this rich heritage. Ahead of them lie bright futures that will no doubt add to the proud Marine legacy that they now rightfully claim as their own. Lance Corporal Manny is a 3-year-old full-blooded English bulldog born in Fallbrook, California on July 9, 2018. He is named in honor of Sergeant Johnny R. Manuelito Sr., one of the original 29 Navajo code talkers who trained in the 1st All-Navajo Platoon here aboard the depot in 1942. Sergeant Manuelito helped create the code that the Navajos developed at Camp Elliott, now Marine Corps Air Station Miramar. He became an instructor, teaching other Navajo Marines the Navajo code. Later, Sergeant Manuelito participated in the Battle of Iwo Jima, where a Marine signals officer stated, "Had it not been for the code talkers, we would have never taken Iwo Jima." Lance Corporal Manny continues the tradition of a long line of Marine Corps Bulldog mascots, dating back to 1921, when Brigadier General Smedley Butler appointed Sergeant Major Jiggs as the first Bulldog mascot for Marine Corps Barracks, Quantico. He is being escorted by the Office of Communication, Lance Corporal Max J. Noel.
Stop! Full it! Stop! Hold! Stop! Center! Hey!
Spiritual development plays an important part in the making of a United States Marine. Lieutenant Heath Taylor, Chaplain Corps, United States Navy, will deliver the graduation prayer. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise.
Let us pray. Father in heaven, we come before you to thank you for this glorious Navy Marine Corps Day you've given to us according to your unending grace. We invite your presence with us here this morning as we celebrate the hard work and accomplishment reflected in the making of Marines of Golf Company who will assemble before us on the parade deck today. We ask you to protect and guide these Marines throughout their long, promising, and decorated careers. We also ask that you continue to watch over, keep, and bless both those gathered here today as well as those soldiers, sailors, airmen, Coast Guardsmen, and Marines in forward deployed and hostile territories around the globe. Help us to serve our Corps and one another well according to the honor, courage, and commitment we confess as creed. God bless our honored nation and our beloved Marine Corps, both now and forevermore. Hoorah and amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. The Commanding General, Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego, welcomes you to what is a historic event in the life of a Marine, their graduation from boot camp. Approximately 40 weeks each year for the past 100 years, new Marines have departed San Diego for service with units of the Marine Corps around the globe. The primary mission of the Recruit Depot is to provide basic training to recruits enlisted west of the Mississippi, which represents approximately 51% of all applicants in the Marine Corps each year. The depot is also home to Recruiter School and Drill Instructor School. All our efforts here are geared toward one end: producing America's finest fighting force, the United States Marines. This morning, Company G, 2nd Recruit Training Battalion, Recruit Training Regiment, will form and march in the parade. Following the pass and review, the graduating Marines will return front and center of the reviewing stand for final dismissal. The staff for today's parade is comprised of Marines from the Recruit Training Regiment. The commander of troops is First Sergeant Miguel Cortez Jr., Company First Sergeant, Company G, 2nd Recruit Training Battalion. The parade adjutant is Staff Sergeant Pedro Paisano, Drill Instructor, Company G, 2nd Recruit Training Battalion, Recruit Training Regiment.
And attention!
The marching units are now being called to attention, and the adjutant's command, sound adjutant's call, will begin today's parade.
And alternate call!
Marching in today's parade are 437 of the graduating Marines from Company G. Among the 437 Marines are 2 Marines who displayed outstanding performances in 2 individually graded events. Private First Class Jose M. Elizalde from Platoon 2143 is the company high shooter, scoring a 344 out of 350. Private First Class James K. Kinyanjui from Platoon 2142 is the most physically fit Marine, scoring a 300 out of 300 on both the physical fitness test and the combat fitness test. Also being recognized is Private First Class Belinda Harms from Platoon 2141 as the Mali Marine for displaying exceptional leadership. They will be receiving an award from the Marine Corps Association and Foundation. Not present today, but worth recognizing, is the primary marksmanship instructor with a platoon high shooting average of 232 for Platoon 2146, Sergeant William Comerauer. Present today is the company honor graduates recruiter, Staff Sergeant Brittany T. Thompson. Recruit training is comprised of subjects required to produce basic Marines who function effectively in garrison, are trained in rudimentary individual field and combat skills, and practice the personal and professional traits which distinguish them as Marines. Examples of these traits are discipline, the achievement of a state of discipline which assures respect for authority, instant and willing obedience to orders, and the self-reliance to maintain or improve those traits which exemplify a Marine. Military bearing, consistently demonstrating military presence and personal awareness, as well as the proper wearing and maintenance of uniforms. Esprit de corps, acquiring the common spirit of the Marine Corps that inspires enthusiasm, devotion, pride, initiative, teamwork, aggressiveness, determination, moral courage, integrity, camaraderie, and the burning desire to work with and for others towards excellence in common goals. For 246 years, Marines have fought and won whenever and wherever the nation calls. In the harshest conditions, over the most brutal terrain, and against the most formidable enemies, Marines defend the ideals of freedom with grit and tenacity. Though battlefields change and capabilities evolve, history proves that true victory comes from the individual Marine. With steel resolve, the drive to overcome any obstacle, and the warrior spirit to fight on against all odds. It takes that steadfast faithfulness, semper fidelis, to corps, country, and each other that abounds throughout our storied legacy. Marines today remain in combat, forward deployed throughout the world, confronting every challenge with courage, loyalty, and faithfulness. They are resolved to be most ready when the nation is least ready, to defend freedom anytime and anywhere. To stand ready to aid those devastated by natural disasters, to pay tribute to those who have forged our proud legacy, and to honor the families and loved ones who faithfully stand beside us. For the Marines of Company G, today marks the end of the 13-week recruit training cycle. They have marched countless miles at Camp Pendleton and on this parade deck, and have been trained, as are all Marines, as basic riflemen. In addition, due to an intensive physical training program, their strength and endurance have doubled since their arrival aboard the recruit depot. They are Marines, qualified to take their places in the ranks of the world's finest fighting organization. The platoons are now being aligned from left to right in order to get them into their exact positions for the parade. The next portion of the ceremony will be our national anthem. We welcome veterans and members of the armed forces to join us in rendering appropriate honors with a military salute. For guests who have not served in the military, it is proper etiquette during the national anthem to place their right hand over their hearts, and for those in the audience wearing headgear, to remove it. Will the guests please rise for the presentation of the colors? Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. Following the command, parade rest, the parade adjutant will give the command sound off, which signals the band to parade forward to the assembled Marines while playing military marching music. The parade adjutant now presents the assembled command to the commander of troops.
Sir, parade is formed. May I, sir? Team 2141, all present! Serious! 2145, all present! Sir, present or accounted for? May I, sir? Attention to order! Headquarters, Recruit Training Battalion, Marine Corps of Dismissal, Pendleton, California, 21 January 2024. The officer of the day today is Captain Taylor. The officer of the day tomorrow is Captain Taylor. By order of J.W. Jones, Colonel, United States Marine Corps.
At the command, officers center march. All unit commanders and guidon bearers march to the front and center of the formation. Historically, it was at this point that commanding officers would issue orders and instructions to the unit commanders. Following this, the unit leaders would face about, return to their units, and pass the information along to their Marines. Throughout our nation's history, millions of men and women have earned the title United States Marine. Many who have helped shape our history join us here today. In keeping with the tradition of once a Marine, always a Marine, we would like to recognize them. At this time, those in the audience who have served as Marines, please rise. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for their dedicated service to corps and country. Thank you. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the battalion commander for 2nd Recruit Training Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Daniel R. Myers.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you all for being here. On behalf of Brigadier General Jason L. Morris, the Commanding General of the Western Recruiting Region and the Marine Corps Recruit Depot here at San Diego, as well as on behalf of Colonel Joseph W. Jones, the Commanding Officer of the Recruit Training Regiment, it is my distinct privilege to welcome you to Company G's graduation. I'd like to begin my remarks today by recognizing a few groups of individuals. First and foremost, to all you family and friends of these new Marines stand behind me, I want to personally thank you for all your love and support of them during recruit training, for it has been vital to their success. You gave them the preparation and the foundation that enabled them to overcome the many mental and physical challenges during their time here. And you also instilled the discipline and courage that allowed them to take those initial steps towards becoming a United States Marine. And for that, we are forever grateful. To the families of the drill instructors, and officers of Company G who are seated right here to the right of the reviewing stand. No one knows more than you the time and dedication that it takes to transform a civilian into a Marine. And so I want to personally thank you for your many, many sacrifices that allows these drill instructors and officers to perform a mission that is absolutely critical to our national security and our Marine Corps. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give these family members a round of applause. I'd also like to recognize today's parade reviewing official, Sergeant Major Smith Levy, whose impressive bio you will hear shortly. Sergeant Major, it's an honor to have you. Thank you for joining us today. You know, making Marines is truly a team effort. And at the forefront of that effort are Marine Corps recruiters sprinkled across this great country of ours. We could not do our job here on the depot if it wasn't for our recruiters finding and sending us qualified applicants who possess that strong desire to become a United States Marine. They're represented here today by Staff Sergeant Brittany Matthews from Recruiting Station, Houston, Texas. She's responsible for finding and sending us the company honor man, Lance Corporal Garce. Staff Sergeant Matthews, thank you. Let's give Staff Sergeant Matthews and all of our recruiters a big round of applause. I have one more group that I would like to recognize. And I'll tell you, these individuals don't need much of an introduction. They're the men and women standing behind me wearing those distinctive green campaign covers. They're the legendary Marine Corps drill instructors. And from the moment a recruit steps foot here on the depot, there's a drill instructor with them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For they're at the very heart of what it takes to transform a civilian into a Marine. And you can ask any Marine, and they will tell you they will never, ever forget the name, the face, or the gentle, loving voice that woke them up every morning for 13 weeks of their drill instructors. And so I encourage you after today's ceremony to come down and meet some of these men and women and thank them for their service. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to the drill instructors. Now I'd like to tell you a little bit about these new Marines and about the training that they just went through. You see, when they first came here, they were fit, young, already in better shape than most people their age. On average, they were 19 years old, and 99% of them were high school graduates, and 14 of them even had college degrees. Furthermore, they displayed the courage and commitment that few of their peers could muster when they raised their right hand, swore a solemn oath to support and defend the Constitution, and then traveled here from across every state and territory in the Western Recruiting Region and 10 other countries across this globe. Some coming as far as Colombia, Kenya, Vietnam, and others from right here within San Diego. And when they arrived here, well, that's when steel began to sharpen steel, as these drill instructors forged them through the fires of the crucible into a tightly cohesive group of physically fit, disciplined Marines, honing their minds and their bodies until they proved themselves capable of walking long distances across mountainous terrain with minimal food and sleep while carrying heavy packs to be where they're needed, when they're needed to accomplish the mission. Now, many of you saw the changes that are in these new Marines. They certainly stand a little taller, they look a little fitter, they use terms like yes ma'am and yes sir, but I want you to know that truly the most important change is one that has occurred within. For they have been thoroughly immersed in our core values of honor, courage, and commitment. And just by virtue of them standing here today means they've accepted those values as their own. And it's because of this, because of the journey that they have made and the physical, mental, and moral development that they have displayed, that through their blood, sweat, and tears, they are now proud to ever claim that title of United States Marine. And now I am proud to introduce to all of you 436 members of Company G as our nation's newest Marines. Now, excuse me while I turn and address these Marines one last time before we conclude today's ceremony. Good morning, Marines. Like I've told you before, Sergeant Major and I are extremely proud of you. Every challenge, every obstacle that we put in your path, you crushed it, and you truly earned the title of United States Marine. When you stepped off those buses and onto those legendary yellow footprints, these drill instructors focused on instilling discipline, resiliency, and our core values in you until you demonstrated our Marine attributes of exemplary character and mental and physical toughness. And as you progressed in your training, you entered our martial arts program, where you earned your tan belt. Some of you learned how to swim for the very first time in our water survival program. And many of you overcame your fear of heights as you negotiated those high obstacles on our confidence course. And then you were taught weapons handling and traveled up to Camp Pendleton, where you learned to deliver precision fires on pinpoint targets from a staggering distance of over 500 yards away, demonstrating our warfighting ethos, skills, and culture. And as a final test, you participated in that grueling 3-day exercise where you were given billets that required you to demonstrate leadership, initiative, and a bias for intelligent action, until you demonstrated at a level that we expect of every single Marine all of our attributes. And it's because of this, because of that journey and the things that you have done, that we are very proud of you. And so I challenge you, as you had that Eagle Globe and anchor that was pressed in the palm of your hand up on top of that Reaper, never forget those traditions. Never forget the things that make you proud to be a Marine. And so on behalf of the officers, the drill instructors, and the support personnel here at Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego, it is my privilege to give you a traditional Marine Corps parting of fair winds and following seas. Congratulations, Marines. Semper Fidelis, and welcome to our Corps.
Now taking their position in the reviewing area is today's parade reviewing official, Sergeant Major Tricia M. Smith-Levy, Sergeant Major for Marine Aircraft Group 11. She is accompanied by Sergeant Major Christy Valdez, Sergeant Major for 2nd Recruit Training Battalion, Recruit Training Regiment.
Regiment! Anthem! Huh! Present! Huh!
Step. Present. Sword. Step. Order. Sword.
Order! Huh!
Sergeant Major Tricia M. Smith-Levy, Sergeant Major, Marine Aircraft Group 11. Sergeant Major Smith-Levy was born in Kingston, Jamaica, and enlisted in the Marine Corps in October 1996 out of Lauderhill, Florida. After graduating, she attended School of Infantry East for Marine combat training in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. After completion of Marine combat training, she attended Personnel Clerk's course and obtained the military occupational specialty of 0121 Personnel Clerk. Sergeant Major Smith-Levy has served in a variety of challenging billets in numerous commands to include serving as a Personnel Clerk at Headquarters Battalion, Marine Corps Base, Kaneohe Bay, Unit Diary Chief at Manpower Management Branch, Separations and Retirements, Drill Instructor and Senior Drill Instructor at 4th Recruit Training Battalion, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Paris Island, Sergeant Instructor, Physical Training Instructor, and Martial Arts Instructor at Officers Candidate School, Operations Chief at G1, 1st Marine Division, Linguist Manager and Liaison Officer at Multinational Security Transition Command, Iraq, First Sergeant at Counterintelligence, Human Intelligence Company, 1st Intelligence Battalion, and as the Battalion Sergeant Major at 4th Recruit Training Battalion, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Paris Island. Sergeant Major Smith-Levy currently serves as the Group Sergeant Major for Marine Aircraft Group 11, 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing. Sergeant Major Smith-Levy's personal decorations include the Defense Meritorious Service Medal, Meritorious Service Medal with 2 gold stars in lieu of 3rd award, Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal with 2 gold stars in lieu of 3rd award, Joint Service Achievement Medal, and the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal with 2 gold stars in lieu of 3rd award. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sergeant Major Tricia M. Smith-Levy.
Man, the parade is formed.
March commander revealed.
Aye, aye, man. Step. Carry. Sword.
Ha! On! Review! Right! Hey! Forward! Punch!
More than 1 million Marines have been trained here in the past 100 years and have departed San Diego for combat in conflicts around the world, including places whose names are immediately associated with Marine courage and dedication. Names such as Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Iwo Jima, Busan, Incheon, Chosin Reservoir, Quezon, Way City, Lebanon, Grenada, Panama, Kuwait, Somalia, Fallujah, Marjah, and our most current operations worldwide. This parade deck is rich in history and tradition, and no Marine trained here ever forgets its sights and sounds. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander of Troops, First Sergeant Miguel Cortez Jr., Company First Sergeant, and the regimental staff. Division Band at Pendleton, California. Ladies and gentlemen, as the national flag passes directly in front of you, please rise. Once it passes, you may be seated. Series 2141, Series Chief Drilling Sergeant, Gunnery Sergeant Dominic J. Bond. Honor Platoon 2141, Senior Drill Instructor, Gunnery Sergeant Hazel A. Roberts. Platoon 2142, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Luis A. Lopez. Platoon 2143, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Justin M. Carroll. Regimental Color Guard is led by the Regimental Color Sergeant, Drill Instructor Sergeant Jesus R. Aguilera. Series 2145, Series Chief Drill Instructor Staff Sergeant Zane B. Thomas. And Platoon 2145, Senior Drill Instructor Staff Sergeant Abel O. Ramos. Platoon 2146, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Ricardo I. Perez. Platoon 2147, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Paul O. Sy. dating back to 1859. It is a long-standing tradition for Marines to face the direction of the music and stand at attention when it is heard. It is now directed that all Marines present and who have served honorably sing the words to the first verse as 1st Marine Division Band performs the Marines Hymn. Will the guests please rise? Soon after graduation, they will report to the School of Infantry, Pendleton, California, where they will continue to be trained to serve as an effective member of a Marine Rifle Squad. The intense initial training that every Marine undergoes is designed to instill the fundamental premise that every Marine is a rifleman. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to introduce to you the Marines responsible for ensuring the success of the difficult transition required to become a Marine. The company commander is Captain Alec D. Wilson. The company first sergeant is First Sergeant Miguel Cortez Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for the company staff of Company G. The next portion of the ceremony will be the traditional function of retiring the guidons. The guidons have been carried by the platoons throughout recruit training and are being retired to symbolize the disbanding of platoons. The platoon honor graduates compete for the titles of Series and Company Honor Graduate. They're considered the top Marines graduating today and have demonstrated the highest potential for future leadership and responsibility in the Marine Corps. The guidons will now be returned to the drill instructors. Ladies and gentlemen, please hold your applause until all honor graduates have been recognized. The honor graduates will be presented a plaque donated by the Marine Corps Association and Foundation. The honor graduate for Platoon 2141 is Private First Class London J. Cushman from Idaho Falls, Idaho. The honor graduate for Platoon 2142 and the series honor graduate is Private First Class Matthew J. Barton from San Antonio, Texas. The honor graduate for Platoon 2143 is Private First Class Trig M. Tennant from Arkansas City, Kansas. The honor graduate for Platoon 2145 is Private First Class Spencer E. Young from Elk Grove, California. The honor graduate for Platoon 2146 is Private First Class Jordan P. Adams from Decatur, Texas. And the honor graduate for Platoon 2147 and the company honor graduate is Private First Class Ryan A. Lagarce from Houston, Texas. Private First Class Lagarce is also the recipient of the Chesty Puller Award for his outstanding meritorious performance while in recruit training. Ladies and gentlemen, the honor graduates of Company G.
Company First Sergeant, what is order? Dismiss the company. Aye, aye, sir.
The company first sergeant will now give the command to the senior drill instructors to dismiss their platoons. Needless to say, this will be the most welcome command they have received throughout recruit training.
Senior drill instructors! Dismiss your platoon!
Yeah, First Sergeant!
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Thank you, and welcome to the Marine Corps family. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Please do not cross the parade deck and utilize the far ends. Pick up any trash around you and utilize all waste receptacles. Please start making your way toward the parking lots, utilizing the walkway behind the bleachers, and go behind the yellow curb. If you are not in the parking lot on the other side of the yellow curb, you are still in a training area and may be impeding other companies' training. Please keep in mind the level of training your Marine has received and afford the same opportunities to those in training by removing any congestion